What's going on, guys? CultofMush back at it with another video, and in this video we're taking a look at the recently released system requirements of Fallout 4. Now, these Bethesda open world games are usually super easy to run on PC, so I was a bit surprised by the system requirements, as you guys are gonna see, but I still expect any mid-level PC to be able to run this game no problem. But without further ado, let's get right into this with minimum CPU requirement. For minimum CPU requirement, you're looking at an Intel Core i5-2300 2.8 GHz or an AMD Phenom II X4 3.0 GHz. Now, probably the most notable thing about that is those are both quad-core CPUs, so we don't know if any dual-core CPUs are actually going to work with Fallout 4. Hopefully, those of you guys with dual-core CPUs will be able to run this game, but definitely if you want a playable experience, chances are you better be looking at quad-core CPUs or at least have an i3. As far as recommended CPU goes, you're looking at an Intel Core i7-4790 3.6 GHz or an AMD FX-9590 4.7 GHz. Now, the i7-4790 is a quad-core CPU that also has hyper-threading, and the FX-9590, obviously you guys know what that's about, and obviously the FX-9590 is an 8-core CPU, so Fallout 4 looks to be one of those games that is actually going to use more than 4 cores if available. But an i7 being recommended is kind of scary. I was really expecting for Fallout 4 an i5 to be recommended, maybe an overclocked i5, something like that, but I'm pretty sure most of you guys with an OC'd i5 are going to be able to run this game just fine. But those of you with an i7, chances are Fallout 4 is going to give you a performance boost since you have that CPU. Minimum and recommended RAM requirement is 8GB, so minimum is 8GB, recommended is 8GB. Yeah, Fallout 4 did have a minimum RAM requirement of 4GB, that would be nice, but at this point, with 8GB of RAM being so cheap, who doesn't have 8GB of RAM at this point? If you're building a new PC, chances are you're getting at least 8GB, and if you only have 4GB, well, an upgrade isn't that expensive, so you might as well just get it. So 8GB is minimum and recommended amount of RAM, really no problems here. Finally, the video card requirement, minimum video card requirement, you're looking at an NVIDIA GTX 550 Ti 2GB or an AMD Radeon HD 7870 2GB. Now, if you guys know, the 7870 is far more powerful than the GTX 550 Ti. So that's weird how they say the minimum is a 550 Ti, but it's also a 7870. Is this gonna be a game that works better on NVIDIA GPUs over AMD GPUs? I don't know, hopefully not. But one thing to note is that they do recommend both video cards to be a 2GB video card. At this point, pretty much every video card, no matter the budget, chances are you're buying a 2GB video card, so that should be fine for most of you guys. And finally, for recommended video card requirement, you're looking at an NVIDIA GTX 783GB or an AMD R9 290X 4GB. So that's some pretty beefy stuff, and a lot of people are hating on Fallout 4 for not having that great graphics, so it's kind of weird how they recommend the GTX 780 and the R9 290X as recommended video cards to run this game. Now, one thing to note is Fallout 4 is going to be a game that's probably going to have a lot of graphical mods that's going to make the game look a lot better, and if that's the case, for those mods, you're going to need something even better than the 780 or the 290X in theory. Now, that's just in theory. A lot of times these developers overshoot on recommended video cards, and honestly, if you have something like a 960, I don't see there being too much problems. Or if you have like an R9 380 and R9 280, I see you running Fallout 4 pretty well regardless, but still, pretty interesting to see that they've listed the GTX 780 and the R9 290X as recommended video cards. One last thing I want to note is that you're going to need 30GB of hard drive space for the game. That's really not that much in 2015. We've seen way worse with games like Titanfall, and Fallout 4 is going to be a game that's probably going to have a lot of DLC, so that's probably going to be another 10 or so gigabytes, so just keep that in mind. So thanks for watching this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts on Fallout 4 and the system requirements in the comment section down below. If you have any requests for future videos, also leave them in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.